These are 7 of the hardest DLC trophies to ever 100% a game, as some trophy hunters go one step further than the Platinum trophy, and now that everyone and their mom seems to be a completionist, let's take a look at 7 of the hardest DLC trophies to ever exist. Starting with a game that is already infamous for being incredibly hard, Wolfenstein II. The famous Mein Leben trophy for beating the game on the highest difficulty without dying is hard enough. But did you know that it also has 3 DLC trophies with the exact same requirements? 3 new Mein Leben runs on the highest difficulty through some new stories. Beating each of these DLC trophies on My Life Again sounds pretty daunting. However, truth be told, these much shorter side stories really shouldn't provide that much difficulty, as by the time you attempt these, you should have had more than enough practice on that difficulty by now, and be able to get through them without too much trouble, especially if you've already platinumed the game already. And therefore it's probably one of the easiest trophies on this list, and there are some really challenging ones coming up. Like another famous DLC from Need for Speed 2015. The platinum for this game is an easy 2 out of 10 15-hour chill cool car experience. However, one of the DLCs is an abysmal 9 out of 10 100-hour grind. The first DLC is nothing bad and just more car stuff, but the Prestige and Speed List trophy list is something else. And that's because of the Gold Plated trophy, which requires you to get the gold star on all 41 Prestige events. Time trials, grids, and drifts are all necessary to get gold on, and because those 3 are 3 different events, you'll need to master multiple cars to be as quick and precise as possible. But your own skill won't be enough during this 100-hour grind, as the other racers or random cars on the road can heavily impact your times. You'll have to practice these so often to know all the ins and outs of every corner, and then pray that you don't get fucked by the randomness. I mean, it could be quite fun to attempt, but you'll need all the good lucks you can get. Another incredibly hard DLC is in Sifu. The platinum itself is already a fair challenge. However, the later introduced Arenas DLC is just next level. This is your average challenge mode DLC, however it truly requires you to master the game's combat to earn all 18 newly added trophies. You really have to be confident at parrying and blocking enemies whilst understanding their moveset. Collecting 240 stamps, gold stamps, or clearing 45 of the Dragon Arena challenges across multiple modes with varying objectives is pretty insane for the average Joe like me. And it's one that I'm hoping nobody forces me to revisit for my backlog series, because I personally already struggled enough on the easiest difficulty to platinum this game, so I can only congratulate the crazy people that have 100%ed this game. Luckily, I can say that I got the trophy in GTA 4's Ballad of Gay Tony DLC for getting all 28 gold stars. GTA 4's platinum itself is already a big undertaking, but this TBOGT gold star trophy is the predecessor to GTA 5 and Red Dead's 2 gold medals. It's got similar requirements like beating the mission within a set time limit, bullet accuracy, and the odd miscellaneous things it wants you to do. You're unlikely to get this naturally and will have to go out of your way to replay these missions over and over again to eventually tick off all the set requirements. And with this being on the PS3, the load times and low resolutions really do not help making this trophy any easier to get. But then again, it's also much easier than the next GTA's DLC trophies. The GTA 5 Doomsday Heist DLC trophy set is a notoriously treacherous one to complete. GTA 5 itself is already again a big tedious grind to platinum with collectibles, gold medals, and of course the online. And that's where the Mastermind's trophy takes place, and in particular it's the one that prevents many people, including myself, from 100%ing the second most sold game ever. And that's because Rockstar wants you to do some insane things. You will need to do the 10-hour run to set up and complete the online heists and finales in order, with the same crew, without dying, on the highest difficulty. And that 3 times with 2, 3, and 4 member crews. It is crazy how many things can go wrong, from crashes to one of your teammates dying. It is just insane. With the amount of coordination required to pull this off, and hope that nothing goes wrong is a nightmare to think about. And that's not even mentioning how much online you have to grind to even reach this point. So to those that have 100%ed GTA 5, big shout out to you insane players, could never be me. But you know, sometimes DLC trophies can even prevent the pettiest completionists from starting games entirely because of their requirements. Like me thinking about starting Batman Arkham City and Arkham Knight, as these both have some pretty crazy 100% requirements. Not only the 16 different DLC packs, but specifically the stealth and combat challenges that are present, like the trophy Requiem for Killer, which will require you to take down Killer Croc during a lengthy 15-minute fight of flawless moves. But all of these challenges in Batman games are a serious challenge because they force the player to truly master the combat with quick thinking and fast reactions. I thought Arkham Asylum was satisfying to platinum, but it must have been nothing compared to 100%ing City or Night. But before talking about the last one, let me quickly share a few others that are also insane, which doesn't count for the like and subscribe button, by the way, which are both super easy to press if you haven't done so already. But a few games are impossible to ever 100% because they won't ever stop adding new trophies. Take Call of Duty for example, which thanks to the COD HQ nonsense will always create an extra DLC for Modern Warfare 2's Platinum instead of releasing the newest Call of Duty as a standalone trophy list. It basically forces players to platinum a game over and over just for some completion percentage and not for a platinum. Same goes for the infinite amount of trophies added to people who are crazy enough to 100% Sea of Thieves with their seasonally added DLC trophies that often require hundreds of hours just for a trophy or two, but also for games that just have too many trophies in general, like why do Dead by Daylight and Vampire Survivors or Sea of Thieves have to have over 250 trophies anyway? It just seems a little excessive, and at what point do we stop adding them? But then again, you also have Uncharted Legacy of Thieves that wants you to again platinum the DLC Lost Legacy on PS5 to unlock the base game platinum, whereas the PS4 release of those two separate games were simply standalone platinums. I mean, they even taunted us with the same trophy name as the platinum on PS4, but without the platinum. But another famous DLC is with The Binding of Isaac, which has the famous Dead God trophy that is essentially a platinum trophy for completing all the other DLC trophies that require you to complete all items, challenges, and secrets. This alone can take hundreds of hours because you also need the RNG gods to be on your side. And before the last one, let's not forget about the Dishonored Dunwall City Trials DLC that has the Void Star trophy that asks the player to complete all expert challenges with 3 stars. And that can be quite a difficulty spike from the base game that many trophy hunters complain about being a real struggle. I personally didn't struggle with The Last of Us Remastered 100% because that's one of my most satisfying 100%, but I'm curious to hear what yours is because it's probably nothing compared to Diablo 4's Devout Champion trophy for reaching Paragon 300. This is quite the grind as the platinum only requires you to reach Paragon 200. The problem is that even though you may think you're already 2/3 of the way there, the levels increase exponentially and it makes those later levels a crazy grind. So much so that around level 285 is where the true halfway mark is, and a total grind could take you over the amount of hours that were necessary for just the platinum. The positive thing is you need to earn XP, and just playing the game normally would allow you to progress. I mean, these Diablo games are usually insanely difficult and long grinds anyway, but all that time spent because you're an addicted completionist is pretty crazy. Drop a comment under the like and subscribe with what DLC trophy you struggled most with, and if you want to see what the rarest platinums are, then check out this video. That's it. See you.